Threading the railings. One of the things I learned during this phase of the build is patience and to hold onto the thread when placing it around the stanchions. Even letting go for a few seconds allows the thread to come off the stanchions and you need to start all over again. Since this was the first time I ever put thread onto a railing, it was trial and error to develop a technique I could repeat for all the railings, either loose or already installed on the ship. First, I made a small loop on the end of the thread, which was tied onto the first stanchion. Note, you can start from either end to get the same results. Place a small drop of CA onto the thread tied to the first stanchion to secure the thread in place. Now slowly wrap the thread around the next stanchion and continue holding the thread tightly as you proceed down the line. As you can see, if you don't keep the thread tight, it easily comes off and you must start all over again. Once you get to the last stanchion on a railing, put a drop of CA on each stanchion to keep the thread in place. I also noted that if I allowed some of the CA to spread onto the thread between the stanchion, it stiffened the thread, making it appear more like a heavy rope or metal rope like a real railing would be on a ship. If you have a different technique to put railings in place, by all means use it and inform us of your experience in doing this on a ship model. Any input is welcome, and I am willing to learn new techniques. Repeat all of the steps I have described for all the railings and set aside for the assemblies to cure. This makes it easier to install later on the ship. I am completing the assembly of the hull by first cementing the propellers to each shaft. Notice that I reamed out the propeller slightly to make it a tight fit on both shafts. Next, cement the shafts in place and make sure they are straight. If I had to start this model over, I would not have done this step until I had completed all of the rest of the build. This is because placing the deck and all the rest of the parts on top may damage the propellers and/or the shafts. Notice I am using a model holder produced by Bulldog Models of the UK to hold the hull. This stand is made primarily to be used with aircraft models, but thought this would work here as well. After test fitting the deck onto the hull and doing any filing of the deck as needed, cement the deck in place. Unfortunately, I did not demonstrate this. Now you are ready to cement the remainder of the parts to the model. The railing assemblies are the first parts that need to be installed. Follow the diagram on the instruction sheet as each assembly has to be positioned precisely. Test fit each railing before applying the CA. You may start at the bow or stern. I chose to begin at the bow and work towards the stern. Repeat these steps to attach the port and starboard spray shields and the railings at the stern. There are very few remaining parts that need to be attached to the USS Buckley model. At this point in the build, I have cemented in place the 20mm open gun tubs with their guns, the open and enclosed 20mm gun tubs with their supports that are midships, the whale boat davits, and the depth charge racks at the stern. Here I am cementing the jackstaff into the bow. The yard arm is cemented onto the main mast. Notice that I am holding this in place for 15 to 20 seconds so that it sets up slightly. When test fitting the main mast through the hole in the rear of the navigation deck, I noted that the 3-inch gun that I had put in place is in the way of getting a tweezer in to position the bottom of the mast into the hole on the second deck. It is a good thing this gun does not have to be cemented in place. It is a tight fit. I removed that gun temporarily to cement the mast in place. So modelers, be aware. Do not place the 3-inch gun into the hole that is just aft of the superstructure before you cement the main mast. Now it is time to complete the USS Buckley model. We're going to cement the white painted cover onto the painted whaleboat. The last part to complete the model is placing the whaleboat assembly onto the davits. Your model is nearly complete. Just add rigging from the jackstaff to the yard arm using the thread supplied in the kit. If you have any questions about techniques explored in this video, or general questions about this build, please post your questions in the comments section below.